This is it, guys. Critically, the worst film in the franchise. Here we go.
Now be a good little doggy and go fetch.
Freddy Krueger returns to stalk Springwood's last surviving teen while a counsellor with a mysterious connection to him closes in, setting up a so-called final showdown. Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Now, I went into this one dreading it, knowing that I was going to hate this movie because obviously growing up, this was for me the worst Freddy movie, and I don't think the consensus has changed online. When I look online, most people have Freddy's Dead as their worst movie in the franchise. So I didn't have high hopes for this. I didn't think that nostalgia was going to pull me in. Maybe longevity or maybe waiting a long time to see it again would make me like it a little bit more. I just thought to myself, this is going to be terrible and I just have to accept it. I think the only saving grace though was coming off the back of part 5, which I disliked more this time than I did the last time. So coming off the back of part 5, I thought, right, okay, that one was pretty bad. So coming on to Freddy's Dead, I already know what to expect. So it kind of eased me in a little bit. But then I got a surprise. Believe it or not, guys, after watching this movie, it's not the ultimate train wreck that I last remembered.
Questions?
Yeah!
Now, first of all, the concept of Freddy's Dead is actually not too bad. We've got an empty Springwood where all the children are gone and it's just adults that are left living in the town. And when children happen to stumble upon them, even though they're not played by children, when children come into the town, they get a little bit excited because it's the first time they've seen children in years, because children can't really live there because there's fear that Freddy Krueger will come back. Now, to me, the sound of that, even the look and the aesthetic of that, reminds me of an episode of The Twilight Zone. It's something so unique that you just can't help but watch. The film tries to build up this absolute amazing finale because it is supposed to be the end of the franchise, and it's not quite something that we get. Instead, it leans into those campy gimmicks again and it just undercuts the tension. We get into more backstory with Freddy Krueger again. We deal with domestic violence, domestic murder and child abuse. I don't think the idea is awful, but it's also unnecessary. I think the biggest issue with it is it over-humanizes him, which also blunts the myth of Freddy Krueger.
We need to talk right now.
Now, I am sad to report that this is the worst Freddy in terms of scariness that we've had so far in the franchise. Everything that I hated about Freddy in the last few movies is amped up to 100 in this one because they tried to go even more funny in this one and it just doesn't work. Robert Englund is genuinely funny and Freddy Krueger is also genuinely funny, but it's something that this movie just didn't need. The kills are also weak and largely forgettable. There is one kill that's not too bad, and that is the hearing aid kill. But then we get this blackboard scraping gag throughout this kill that just kind of dilutes what looked to be a decent kill.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
We then get this forced 3D finale that I completely forgot about when I was watching it in the last 15 minutes or so, and it just takes you right out of the movie. Now, like I said, the movie isn't as bad as I last remembered it, but when I got to the last 15 minutes, that was the god-awful part of the movie, and that hasn't changed, and I haven't changed my mind on that part. Watching the last 15 minutes was absolutely dreadful. Surprisingly though, I think the characters are actually likeable. There's not one character that I didn't like in this movie, and it's maybe thanks to the acting as well. I think the acting was a lot better in this one. The actors were a lot better, and the characters were a lot better than in part 5. I'm not saying they're better than previous ones before that, but it's definitely a step up from what we got in part 5. One of the big reasons for that is I didn't want these characters to die, and if you don't want characters to die, then they've done something right. We are, of course, introduced to Freddy's daughter. We now know that Freddy has a daughter. Now, although the movie didn't need to have that, and it wasn't the worst idea, they didn't really explore it as much as I wanted them to. It's similar to what they've done with part 5 with Amanda Kruger. They didn't explore that as much as they should have, and it's the same with having Freddy's daughter. They didn't really get into it as much as I wanted them to. The aesthetics to the film were quite decent, to be honest. The dream sequences, even though the dreams weren't great and the death scenes weren't great, aesthetically they are as good as they always are. It's something that I've praised every movie in the franchise so far with, is that aesthetic look. It does look like you're in a dream. It does look like you're in Freddy's nightmare. So in terms of aesthetics, then I can't fault it. It's funny that the CGI in this one, they're kind of tinkering with CGI at this point in Hollywood, and although the CGI is really bad, it sort of feels nostalgic in a kind of warm, fuzzy way. Robert Englund is, of course, as charismatic as ever because of the comedy moments. He is the best actor in the franchise, I guess, and he is the best character in this movie. But Freddy Krueger being a comedy character now, I didn't like that too much. When it comes to the actors themselves, apart from Robert Englund, I would guess that maybe Lisa Zane was the best thing in the movie. Breckin Meyer was also not too bad as well. And we get some weird cameos from Johnny Depp, Tom Arnold and Roseanne as well. Just so bizarre. But I guess that's understandable because it is a bizarre movie. The weird thing is, this movie is probably supposed to be the funniest one in the franchise. Freddy Krueger is supposed to be the funniest he's ever been, but the film also deals with some of the darkest moments in the franchise because we're dealing with child abuse, we're dealing with that murder of the girl's mother right in front of her as well. So it's dealing with a lot of childhood trauma, but it's also mixed in with this comedy that's not necessary. I feel like if they strip back the comedy and give us more of that seriousness, this might have not been a terrible film. And bizarrely enough, guys, even though this movie was terrible, it still is a bad film. It got bad reviews when it came out as well. It still managed to make almost $35 million at the US box office. That just shows that no matter how good or bad Freddy Krueger is, people still wanted to see him.
Every town has an Elm Street.
Overall though, guys, colour me shocked. It wasn't the worst film I'd ever seen, and it's actually a watchable Freddy Krueger movie. If you asked me to pick a movie to watch, Part 5 or Freddy's Dead, I would maybe pick Freddy's Dead, and it's mainly because of the storyline. I think the storyline is intriguing enough to want to watch it again, and of course the characters are a lot better and likeable than the characters in Part 5. Is it a better movie than Part 5? You'll probably have to find out when I do the ranking for it, but it's not as far away as I thought it would have been. So what are your thoughts on Freddy's Dead? Am I being too harsh on it, or am I being too nice on the movie? Is it the worst in the franchise, really? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm interested to find out about this one because it's not the most polarizing one in the franchise. It's the one that most people hate on. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. But as always, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!